evening and welcome to the news tonight on NDTV Hindu. There are 58 countries which have used a death penalty in at least the last 10 years and still have it as one of their main punishments. But today, the Madras High Court confirmed a death penalty for a man who raped a 13-year-old girl while her cousins watched on, and the man went on to even brutally kill her own brother in front of her eyes. Will today's judgment be a sort of a closure for the families of these children? Is death penalty justified for a case of rape and murder? Is the big question we are asking my guests tonight, Advocate Manikandan and Sudha Ramalingam, a senior rights advocate in the city. But before that, let's take you through the headlines at 9 p.m. Angry parents tell the Supreme Court that it's politics over education being played out at the cost of their future of the children. This is what a lady cop had to face for doing her duty as protests over the delayed implementation of the uniform syllabus took an ugly turn. The Principal Sessions Court dismisses the bail petition of crime suspect, the retired army officer accused in the murder of teenager Dilshan. A city businessman is found dead in a mansion. Police get hold of the pistol used and his accused brother-in-law before ballistic reports confirmed if it was a murder. The Madras High Court awards the death sentence for Stephen Kumar accused of rape and murder of minor children. A third DMK leader to come up for land-grabbing charges, ex-MLA Ranganathan is arrested as complaints against him pile up. A deja vu of the May 13th elections, this time out at the Madras High Court campus. After 3 years, elections to the advocate's body take place. Amma asks Dr. Singh if aspiring students of Tamil Nadu can be exempted from the national entrance test for medical courses. Let's also take you through the national headlines we're tracking at this hour. The government agrees to a discussion on price rise with voting in the Lok Sabha tomorrow. After NDTV's exclusive on the auditor faulting the Prime Minister's office for appointing Kalmadi, the Sports Minister's statement is shouted down in the Parliament. The BJP hits back at the PMO's claim that the NDA appointed Kalmadi, says they only signed an agreement, it was the UPA's decision. PDP MLAs beaten up by an agitated crowd in Sopore when they went to pay condolences for a custodial death. Latest pictures of the 1,000-ton cargo ship MV Pavit, which ran aground at Mumbai's Juhu Beach. How did it slip by unnoticed? After being thrashed by England in Trent Bridge, Dhoni blames poor scheduling as they just came out of a series in West Indies. Our top story tonight, over a crore students in the state of Tamil Nadu here still have no syllabus to go by. The reason, a final word on the uniform syllabus for the schools here in the state is still awaited from the Supreme Court. In fact, today, parents of students attacked the politics behind the implementation of the uniform system of education in the state. The lawyers representing the parents told the Supreme Court that lakhs of students were being taken for a ride due to political reasons. They added that the committee has not found fault with all of the classes for change of syllabus and that there were certain inky defects which could be cured. Meanwhile, the Madras High Court had said that it was merely because the previous DMK regime had introduced the system that the AIADMK wanted to change it. Now, the court has also observed that the state government had blackened Thiruvalluvar's couplets, a publication for which close to 70 lakh rupees was spent. An observation was also that the uniform system was introduced by curing defects as per the High Court order so as to streamline 4 different streams of education. The arguments will continue tomorrow, after which a final verdict is expected. Now, over the last couple of days, parties like the DMK as well as the PMK have taken to the streets protesting against this delay. In fact, today, the PMK held statewide rallies demanding that the common syllabus system be implemented from this academic year itself. PMK President G.K. Mani led these protests in the city, also asking for necessary corrections in the textbooks before the implementation. Remember, the PMK had snapped ties with the DMK recently and so had chosen to organize its demonstrations separately this time around. In a move to reiterate their opinions and stand, the party said that the system introduced by the earlier DMK regime was faulty. Meanwhile, parents here in the city too expressed their discontentment with the politics surrounding not just the common syllabus but also the confusion over school fees. A group of nearly 300 frustrated parents gathered at the Memorial Hall in front of the Government General Hospital to voice their concerns. They complained of being caught in the political crossfire and demanded immediate solutions to the problem. Meanwhile, an agitated mob got out of control when they were protesting against the ruling government for the delay in the common syllabus system and roughed up a lady constable in the process. The 37-year-old woman Pushpa Mary suffered serious injuries and was even rushed to a private hospital from the scene of protest. In fact, doctors attending to her are hoping to secure her leg with foot plates in a major surgery. Meanwhile, the 60 protesters have all been arrested and are lodged at the Puril prison. In the latest updates, we are hearing on the murder of teenager Dilshan's case. The Principal Sessions Court today dismissed the bail petition of Kandasamy Ramaraj, the retired army officer who is the accused in the murder of teenager Dilshan. The officer has now sought bail, saying that the case has in fact been foisted on him by the CBCID. The public prosecutor opposed the bail plea of the retired army officer, saying that the CBCID has evidence to prove that he was involved in the murder. The Sessions Court dismissed the bail application of the retired army officer, saying that the claims were not legally sustainable. Moving on, Saukarpet, home to North Indian families in Chennai, was shaken by a shootout a little before midnight. Residents of a mansion in the area heard a gunshot. A 52-year-old electrical shop owner was found dead inside a room in the mansion with a bullet wound in his head. The businessman, who was based in the city, had reportedly gone to the mansion to recover money he had loaned to his estranged brother-in-law. Now, was this murder or a suicide? Our crime correspondent Salim explains why a ballistic test held that key to cracking that case. These shocked residents of a nondescript mansion in Saukarpet were woken by the sound of a gunshot. The bullets at the scene of crime and a .32 pistol, a weapon civilians are licensed to possess for self-protection, are the telltale signs of what led to the death of this 52-year-old electrical shop owner, Sudhir Sharma. The police say the needle of suspicion points to the brother-in-law of the slain businessman, Ashish Sharma, a native of Mathura, who had hired a room in the mansion. That's because the Uttar Pradesh licensed weapon belongs to him. Family sources reveal that the deceased electrical dealer had lent money to the suspect to help him tide over financial difficulties. A possible attempt to recover the money may have led to an altercation.
அதாவது அவங்களோட அண்ணா தம்பிங்க ரெண்டு பேர் ஒரு பொம்பளை இருந்தது மூணு பேர் இருக்காங்க ரூம்ல மூணு பேர் இருக்காங்க அந்த மூணு பேர் வந்து ஒரு அண்ணா ஒரு அண்ணி மட்டும் மேல சமையல் பண்ணிக்கிறாங்க அப்ஸ்டர்ல பண்ணும்போது அவங்க தம்பி வந்து கீழ மேல ஒரு டவுட்டா ஒரு இது வரதுனால சுத்தி கீழ மேல போயிட்டு வரது பேக் பண்ணிக்கிறாங்க நாங்க ஃபாலோ பண்ண என்ன நடந்தது என்ன மேட்டர்ன்ட்டு அவர் ஃபாலோ பண்ணி மேல வந்ததுக்குள்ள அவங்க என்ன சொல்றாரு பாஸ்மேன் வராரு நீங்க வந்து கம்முன்னு இரு எதுமே தெரிய வேண்டாம் அப்படினு சொல்லி நானும் போயிட்டு கழுத்துன்னு பார்த்தோன்னே அப்படியே டெட் பாடி கொல்லடிச்ச மாதிரி இருந்தது அது என்ன ஆயிடுச்சு நமக்கு தெரியாது அப்படியே மூட்டி நம்ம மேனேஜர் ஃபோன் பண்ணிட்டோம் இன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ண உடனே நம்ம மேனேஜர் வந்து பார்த்துட்டு போலீஸ்காரன் கூப்பிட்டாங்க.
When interrogated, Ashish Sharma denied shooting his brother-in-law and claimed that in the course of a heated argument, Sudhir Sharma snatched his pistol lying in the room and shot himself on the temple, a version the police isn't buying. So they have sought the help of ballistic experts to check from what angle the shot was fired.
Ballistic experts say when a bullet is fired from a pistol, the gunpowder that are invisible to human eye gets deposited on the hand. If they confirm the traces of the gunpowder on the victim's hand, it's a case of suicide. If they confirm the traces of gunpowder on the accused person, it's a case of murder.
Sources say the bullet had been fired from a high angle, which is a remote possibility in the case of suicide. The firing range will also be analyzed with the help of the autopsy report. 3 rounds of unused bullets have been recovered. Police say even if it turns out to be a case of suicide, the suspect will be arrested as he is licensed to carry the pistol only in Uttar Pradesh but chose to illegally bring it to Chennai. In Chennai with Salim, Evelyn Matthew for NDTV Hindu. Moving on, Amma's newly introduced land-grabbing cells across the state are claiming more and more DMK leaders and their aides for their alleged involvement in encroachment and threats over property. The third in a row to be arrested was a former DMK MLA Ranganathan today. The arrest came after a complaint was filed from the Tirumangalam area. Ranganathan is the third leader to be arrested after former DMK ministers Veerapandi Arumugam and Chepok's MLA J. Anbalagan, who are behind bars on similar charges. Ranganathan and his personal assistant allegedly forged documents and encroached over 20 acres of land. They are believed to have hired goons as well and also threatened around 120 owners to part with their property after reaching a compromise of splitting with a portion of the land value. Now, if you happen to visit the campus of the Madras High Court today, you would have seen pamphlets everywhere. Come Thursday, lawyers will elect leaders from their profession to preside over what many believe is a politically active bar. The elections are being held after a gap of 3 years under the supervision of the Madras High Court.
All the trappings of a general election: the canvassing, the pamphlets, the posters, and the competitive, if not combative, spirit.
See, fourth are the elections. You just take a look around this place. You will see the whole place littered with papers. There are not less than 57 candidates contesting for the elections for various posts. And on an average, a candidate who is contesting for the junior executive committee member, we are given to understand, has printed about 3,000 pamphlets, and there are 7 different photos of candidates have printed 7 varieties of pamphlets, at least on an average. So you take into account 7 into 3,000 into 57, the amount of litter that is there in the High Court.
The stakes are just as high as the political firmament. So the Madras High Court directed the Election Commission's advocate, G. Rajagopalan, to play the role of an election officer to ensure peaceful voting.
The MHA elections are now scheduled on 4/8/2011, and there are about 5,500 voters are expected to vote. I think we expect at least 4,000 to turn up. For easy polling, we have arranged 8 booths we have made. We have also requested the High Court to give some of the court halls for polling.
Here are the top contenders. Defending champion Paul Kanagraj, who after the court violence switched loyalties from the DMK to the AIA-DMK. Mohana Krishnan, an environmental lawyer, Elephant G. Rajendran. 73 candidates are in the fray for 16 posts. Though political parties are not directly involved in the election, most candidates have some political affiliation. Which is why, whenever there is a change of guard in the state, it's not just a new set of bureaucrats, but also a different set of law officers who take charge. In Chennai, with Peer Mohammed, this is Ashmit Kumar for NDTV Hindu.
When we come back on the news tonight, we join senior advocates Ms. Sudha Ramalingam and Mr. Manikandan and take their call on whether death penalty is justified for a case of rape and murder. That's coming up on The Big Question.